Yo, chat. I mean, YouTube gang. What y'all on? I don't know why I always say chat. What y'all on, man? Okay, look. So, you feel me? I hope y'all niggas doing good, by the way. So, look. Check me out. This is something I really want to watch, folks. My nigga Matty Balls uploaded worst marketing gimmicks in the music industry. Chat, now, as you know, a lot of your favorite artists or whatever, or rappers, you know, whatever, do a lot of things to promote their albums and shit. You be surprised, like, okay, chat, like, for example, you be surprised, like, you know, every time, like, or like favorite rapper or whatever, like, has a song or album or whatever coming out, there's always, and like before it comes out, there's always some like weird or some random shit that happens to them. That's because the shit's not real. It's called marketing and promoting. You feel me? It happens all the time, people. That's how the music industry is. But let's get into this shit. You feel me? You know, enough chit chat. Let's go.
From Katy Perry creating a national biohazard in Australia and Mario Judah faking domestic abuse, to Apple Music forcing U2's album into everyone's library, and Justin Bieber desperately begging people to make his song go #1, there have been a ton of terrible marketing gimmicks done by popular artists. So today we are going to be looking into some of these.
Well, I know artists will literally purposely go to jail just to like promote their albums and songs and shit. It'd be crazy.
Worst marketing attempts in the music industry. Starting off with Mario Judah faking domestic.
He did this? He faked domestic. What happened to this nigga anyway? What does he be doing now?
Abuse to promote his song I Cannot Love You. So Mario Judah is the smallest and least relevant artist on this list, but the marketing gimmick he attempted for his song has to be probably one of the worst ones I've ever seen. So back in 2020 and 2021, he was going viral for things like this.
A lot of people are assuming that's gotta be racist. There's no way.
After his virality from the song Die Very Rough, his Drewski interview, and other things, he attempted a new marketing strategy. This was around the time Playboi Carti was teasing his long-awaited album Whole Lotta Red. But since fans had been waiting so long, Mario Judah began to claim he would release the album if Playboi Carti wouldn't. He gave him a deadline of December 6th, and if he didn't release the album by then, Mario Judah would drop it for him. Since Carti didn't release his album, Mario Judah put out a single that was surprisingly solid and sounded a lot like Playboi Carti. However, Mario Judah did really force this marketing gimmick, and about a week later he put out 3 more songs, but by that point people didn't really care too much anymore. Mario Judah began losing momentum and started to fall off, and he must have been desperate at that time based on the marketing gimmick he tried next. In early 2021, Mario Judah had allegedly broken up with his girlfriend because she had cheated on him. He was tweeting things like, "If you're a cheater, you're gonna die this week. I'm coming to kill you." So it was already pretty weird, but somehow it got much worse. On January 21st of 2021, Mario Judah was live on Instagram when he was talking about his ex-girlfriend and how she cheated on him. Then he conveniently ran into her and basically pretended to assault her.
Oh, stop the car, bro. Stop the car. Hell no, bro. You serious? This right here. What the are you serious, bro? Bro, what the did you do? What the you got too much going on, bro. What the did you do? You know, I should go do some more shit to her. What the
A lot of people in the stream and online thought it was real, and tons of people were talking about it.
You thought that was fucking real. Y'all some thunkies.
Twitter, some outlets even reported on it, although most people were very skeptical of whether or not it was real. Conveniently, Mario Judah released the song I Cannot Love You the following day. The song was all about how, like I said, he was cheated on and how he couldn't love that girl anymore. Tons of people online were talking about how lame and weird it was for him to fake domestic abuse for publicity. One commenter even said, "This dude really fumbled the bag and is going out sad. Faked assaulting a girl on Instagram Live. WTF is he thinking?" Likely due to all of the negativity, he later explained, "What happened in my live the other night was acted out to show you all what happens when you are all in a f***ed up relationship. If you end up in an abusive relationship or hurtful relationship, you end up hurting each other." Regardless of its meaning though, it was definitely a terrible marketing scheme. And based on how his career is going right now, I think we can all agree it didn't really work out. So it's really funny, but the day after I recorded this video, Mario Judah did another really funny, crazy marketing gimmick. Basically, he finally returned to Instagram and the internet after being gone for a very long time, time and made a post about how the world is about to end. He wrote out this entire paragraph on how to baptize yourself so that you can go to heaven when the apocalypse comes. So it looks like Mario Judah has a pre-tribulation view of the rapture. Pretty interesting stuff. And what's funny about this is that it doesn't seem genuine whatsoever based on, one, the marketing scheme I just covered, and two, the fact that he accompanied the post with a song that he called a diss track towards Satan. It's like, obviously he's just trying to market himself again to blow up. The Bible even talks about how no one knows when the world's gonna end, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. But yeah, this is just another funny marketing gimmick he randomly decided to try as I made this video. And while Mario Judah's marketing attempt was outright terrible, Drake and Spotify's was just plain annoying. In the summer of 2018, Drake began gearing up to release his album Scorpion. After a few hit singles, Drake released the album on June 29th of 2018. Prior to its release, he had done the usual marketing with things like billboards in Toronto, but the issue was that when the album was released, Spotify slapped Drake's face on almost all of their editorial playlists. It made sense maybe seeing him on playlists like Rap Caviar, R&B, and This Is Drake, but he was even featured on playlists with genres of music he didn't even make. He was seen on playlists like Fresh Gospel, Best of British, Ambient Chill, and plenty of other playlists that he didn't even have his music in. Someone on Reddit actually did the math and saw that less than 50% of the playlists with Drake's face actually included his music. It was really odd, and I doubt Drake himself had anything or much at all to do with this decision, but no outlet stated whether this was paid promotion or something schemed up by Spotify and his team. I'd assume that was the case since Spotify has to gain something from it, but we don't really know for sure what their motive was. Many users argued that they were paying the subscription so that they didn't have to see the ads, even though Spotify was basically shoving Drake's music down their throats. This was a pretty big deal on the internet for a while, and like you can see, tons of people were upset. Because of this, a lot of people were demanding refunds from Spotify, and surprisingly enough, Spotify actually began giving out some refunds. One person on Reddit said that they talked with customer support and received a refund, and recommended that many other people attempt the same. Since Spotify pushes music so hard, and to be fair, was a pretty solid album, it's no surprise Drake broke the streaming record for most streams in 24 hours and in a week with this album. This whole situation is even more interesting because supposedly he had signed a $19 million deal with Apple Music. In the end, the entire situation just ended up being strange. On a similar but much worse note, U2 and Apple had a marketing scheme just like Drake and Spotify. When Steve Jobs was working on the iPod and iTunes, he had relationships with a lot of artists, including the band U2. They had been friends with Steve Jobs for a while and even joined him for dinner at his house to discuss business. Apple used their music in commercials and in turn released a U2 themed iPod. They actually made a few. Apple, along with many other companies, also worked with Bono for his product Red in an attempt to raise money and awareness to eliminate AIDS from African countries. It's obvious that Apple and U2 were close, and they were able to maintain that relationship when Tim Cook took over as CEO. Meanwhile, U2 had began working on their album Songs of Innocence. Bono mentioned that he was uncertain that the band would be able to remain relevant, which may have had a hand in the decisions that were to be made. On the flip side, Apple wanted to keep iTunes relevant as Spotify was on the rise. So instead of doing something like an iTunes exclusive release, U2 and Apple planned something pretty stupid, to put it plainly. On September 9th of 2014, Apple held an annual event like they normally do, where they announced what they had planned. They announced the iPhone 6, which is always a big deal, and they also announced the launch of the first ever Apple Watch. But Apple also announced their collaboration with U2. U2 was invited out on stage to perform a brief concert for everyone at the Apple event, and it was here that they announced their new album, Songs of Innocence. They accurately announced that Apple was going to send out U2's album to everyone for free.
And I think you can help us. How do we get this to as many people as possible?
Well, you know, we do have iTunes.
Could you get this to them?
Sure, we could do that.
So basically, as Bono admitted in his memoir, he suggested the idea to Tim of sending every iTunes user their new album for free. Now, if you're young, this was before Apple Music, and on iTunes, you had to pay for albums.
Yes,
I think it was like 12 bucks. I was a kid with no money, though, so all I could afford were those 99-cent songs.
Never paid for album day in my life, though.
Lucky, they had a 39-cent ringtone. But anyways, Bono suggested that Apple pays U2 for the music, and in exchange, they distribute it to all the iTunes users for free. So on September 9th of 2014, 2013, Apple paid U2 over $100 million and sent out the album to its over 500+ million iTunes users. They claimed that it was the largest album release of all time. However, people were understandably pretty upset about this. Some even labeled them the most hated band in America. This is because back in the day, your iTunes music was stored locally on your phone. The entry-level iPhone 6 that was announced the same day they launched the album only had 16 gigabytes of storage, which is not much. So this had to have been extremely annoying for people with limited space, especially since it couldn't be deleted as easily as other albums could. There was an option to hide it, but not to delete it. So many people woke up one day with a random U2 album on their phone. Many people probably didn't even know the band, and they just couldn't get rid of it. I really liked Tyler, the creator's reaction to this decision. Anyways, a week after this launch, Apple posted a webpage that gave a tutorial on how to remove the album because there was so much backlash. Bono said he first thought it was just some internet drama and that it wasn't a big deal, but he said shortly after that he realized that they had bumped into a serious discussion about the access of big tech to our lives. He said that he takes full responsibility, and it seems like he does really regret the decision. Apple had later released a report that said 33 million people had listened to at least one song from the album, which is only about 6.7% of the 500+ million iTunes users. So I think it's safe to say that this was one of the biggest music marketing fails ever. And while this marketing scheme was dumb, Justin Bieber's was just plain embarrassing.
Embarrassing!
On January 3rd of 2020, Justin Bieber released the single Yummy, which would later appear on the album Changes. Like most singles, this one was released with the attempt to blow up. And as we would see, Justin Bieber really wanted this song to go #1. This was around the time that TikTok was really demonstrating itself to be a powerhouse in music marketing, so it makes sense that Yummy sounded like a song that was made just for the app. He actually joined TikTok just to promote Yummy, and in an effort to promote the song, Justin Bieber tried out two really weird and embarrassing marketing gimmicks. The first one is just weird because he was posting a bunch of pictures of random babies with the caption #Yummy. This caused a bunch of backlash. Lots of people were understandably weirded out and upset by this. There was also a bunch of people that thought this song was linked to the Pizzagate theory. Regardless of whether or not it's true, I can't imagine a world where it's not weird to post a bunch of pictures with babies and the #Yummy. But most of the attention was directed at his marketing attempt to make the song go #1. Around this time, Roddy Ricch's song The Box.
Yeah, one didn't he pass Selena Gomez or he yo, this nigga Roddy Ricch literally went #1. He pretty much shitted on fucking Justin and all them niggas.
And it was at #3 on the Billboard 100. However, because of how viral it was going, especially on TikTok, it was bound to hit #1. But Justin wanted his song to be #1. So he basically begged his fans to stream the song to get it to that spot. Justin Bieber made an Instagram post with instructions on how to get Yummy to #1. For YouTube users, he advised, don't repost the video, link it instead. Stream on YouTube, log out of your account, don't skip ads, don't mute it, don't repeat, refresh. For Spotify users, he advised, create a playlist with Yummy on repeat and stream it. Don't mute it, play it at a low volume, let it play while you sleep. Now this is just nuts because he's basically begging for fake streams. But what's even crazier is the subtext, which reads, if you are not from the US, you can download a VPN app, set the VPN to US, and then create a Spotify account. All that just to get a silly #1 song. For Apple users, he advised people to buy the song on iTunes and buy the song multiple times on Justin's website. Technically, he was reposting this from a fan page, but still, it was extremely embarrassing and the post was later deleted. Tons of people online were clowning him for it, and outlets were reporting on it saying Justin Bieber is increasingly desperate for Yummy to go viral on TikTok. In the end, Roddy Ricch won the battle and went #1 with his song The Box, and it actually remained there for quite a while. What's even funnier is that after his victory was assured, Roddy told fans to go stream Yummy by Justin Bieber. Overall, it was a big stain on Justin Bieber's reputation. And while Justin Bieber's marketing was very embarrassing, Katy Perry's put an entire country's ecosystem at risk. In 2013, Katy Perry released her album Prism. She did a lot of promo and marketing for this album as it was her 4th studio album and she was already fairly successful. She had a golden truck driving around revealing the name of the album, and she also partnered with Pepsi, doing some cool things that allowed fans to get
every time I
involved
think
in
of
the release
Pepsi, I keep thinking of
when the album released on
that
October 18th of 2013, it went #1 in the United States, and it also went #1 in the UK, New Zealand, Canada, Ireland, and most importantly, Australia. See, the reason it's important to note the album's popularity in Australia is because when she released the deluxe version of the CDs, they came with the album's logo printed onto seed paper. Katy Perry said on Twitter, "The first 300,000 copies of the Prism Deluxe have a seed prism you can plant to spread the light." Now, it's a cool idea to include seed paper in CD packaging. I always love little bonus gifts in my CDs, so it definitely was a great way for her to encourage her fans to want to buy the CDs, until it wasn't.
A national biohazard. Not something that comes to mind when you think of CDs or Katy Perry, but that's exactly what's happening in Australia.
As Independent said, some critics claim Katy Perry's new album was hazardous to the ears, but Australian officials have dubbed Prism a genuine biosecurity concern. See, Katy Perry's team said that the seeds were locally sourced in Western Australia, and this was true for the CDs purchased in Australia, but the Australian Department of Agriculture was worried about CDs purchased internationally, especially since Australians statistically bought more stuff from international stores rather than Australian stores. To look into it further, Australian biosecurity officers began to quarantine the international versions and started inspecting them to see whether or not they were dangerous. I saw one article saying that the album was banned, but I'm assuming if it was, that was only the international version, and I didn't see any other outlets confirming this. But following the Prism CDs being labeled a biohazard, quarantined, and investigated, I did not see any other outlets or publications or news sources follow up on this with what happened. So thankfully, it seems like there was no significant damage done to Australia's ecosystem. And while Katy Perry risked an entire country's ecosystem, Rihanna just tortured the lives of some 150 people on her plane for a week. This transition is a joke or an exaggeration, but you'll see what I mean. So in 2012, Rihanna was gearing up to release her next album, Unapologetic. In an effort to promote her album, she did something so large scale that it was crazy, and it did end up being pretty crazy. The idea was to get a ton of reporters, fans, and journalists with her on her private plane to fly to 7 different cities to perform 7 different shows. It was called the 777 Tour. It was supposed to be a huge deal, with an accompanying documentary that did eventually end up releasing. A few select fans and 150 journalists from 82 different countries received a special letter in the mail inviting them to the 777 Tour. Passengers arrived and received goodie bags, and were so giddy it isn't surprising that the whole event is archived on Twitter. The first day went smoothly. All of the passengers were treated to first-class meals, and everyone began partying. The plane even had their own massage therapist. But after day 1, things would go downhill. One problem that popped up quickly was a lack of sleep. Sleeping on planes is tough, especially when you have all these fans excited to see Rihanna and all these journalists trying to get their new story. On top of that, there were complaints that there was more alcohol being served than there was food. And very quickly, guests began complaining that they barely, if at all, got to see Rihanna. On the 3rd day, Rihanna was 2 hours late to a show, but things still managed to get worse. After being stuck on a plane with hundreds of people for 5 days, tons of alcohol, lack of Rihanna, and no sleep, at 4 a.m. on November 19th, the passengers staged a big protest. One guy even ran naked around the plane, which seemed to help entertain all of the other passengers.
Just like quote! Just like quote!
The lack of food was definitely a big issue, with one reporter saying, "The lone meal we got en route from France was a mournful, crustless finger sandwich." That one journalist,
to be honest with you, it's not really surprised me that didn't go well. I mean, you stuffing a bunch of people inside of a fucking PJ, like, come on, man.
To summer camp
Of course that
food,
shit not
if
gonna go
instead
well.
of summer camp, we sent children to prison. So it sounds like the food was not good. Finally, on the last day, 30 minutes before the plane landed, Rihanna came out of hiding to answer some questions. She also asked to see the streaker. Rihanna claimed the reason she was gone so much, most likely, in her own room in the back, instead of answering questions or partying, is because she wanted to save her voice for upcoming shows. She said, "I know you guys got barely any dirt, but I had to be good. I still sound like It's impossible to spend time with everybody, and I'm sorry I didn't. Usually I will be partying back here, balls to the walls, but I had to pay attention and take care of my health since I was on the plane all the time." But let's be real here. If most of us were in her shoes, we probably would have been in the back too. Or I personally just wouldn't have done it at all.
Yeah, I just wouldn't have done no shit like that. No, that shit probably stank.
After everyone was finally able to get off that terrible plane and share their experiences, there was a fair share of criticism. Obviously, there were complaints about everything I just mentioned, especially the lack of Rihanna, but another unfortunate one is, as one report wrote, one writer boarded the plane with pneumonia and another with bronchitis, and I believe at some point their germs combined and forged a super virus in the rich microbial stew of the plane. So in the end, it does seem like this event brought Rihanna a ton of attention, and whether or not it was is good, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Anyways, thank you guys for
Facts.
watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know some of your favorite
Because all
weird
publicity
marketing
is good
things that
publicity.
artists
Right,
have
you can't
tried
say
in
it's
the
not
past
good
in the
publicity,
comments
folks.
below. Anyways, if you enjoyed
That's
this,
true.
make sure to leave a like. Other than that, this has been Matty Balls, and I'll see you guys next time.
On phone and grade, shout out my nigga Matty Balls, man. Right, but that's true, boy. WVid and some shit, but like, there's no such thing as bad publicity, chat. Because at the end of the day, if you getting the attention, whether it's negative or good, you still got me. For me personally, I'd rather have positive attention, but that's just me though. Gang.